You know what they say, when your friend buys something new, you end up buying something new? Well, in this case, my friends bought kayaks, and I went ahead and bought a used kayak. This is an Aquaterra Sea kayak from the 1990s.
The Funk Soul Brother, check it out now.
I went ahead and packed up the car politely, and although they are called oars, it's really not an option. Bring those too if you're going on the water. My dog would be staying back for this trip, but she was fine with that because it just meant she got to sleep on my bed all day. And then I headed down the road to pick up my good friend. There he is before you with his new kayak. Hello, Tauntaun. Surprisingly, his kayak weighs more than mine. And it's a field and stream, more specific. It's going to be the Eagle Talon 12 model. And then from there we hopped up, loaded up, and made our way down the road. And if you want to skip around, here are the timestamps. Feel free. And at some point, we eventually made it to Sadler's Creek State Park, which is in South Carolina. We just drove straight through the main gate after paying our fee and pulled up here to a primitive campsite to pull over and get access to one of the beachheads. Pretty cozy spot all in all. We had it all to ourselves. Being a sea kayak, that up there weighed roughly 60 pounds. It's a bit more cumbersome by the shape, but we grabbed both of our kayaks and walked them down to the beach so we could depart. Really didn't take us too much time, and the water was quite warm today. All in all, seemed like it was a good start for an early morning. So our plan was fairly simple. We'd arrive at Sadler's Creek, and from the northernmost beachhead, we'd hit 4 separate islands today, all listed out here for you. 2 in South Carolina and 2 across the Georgia line. We'd start from our beachhead and hit the T-shaped island before eventually finally getting to the last island in Georgia and returning the way we came. Getting set up was pretty easy. We threw on our cameras, threw on our preservers, and then mounted up for the day. It was nice coming out of this beachhead too because there were no waves keeping us stuck in place to fight against. We also got to spot this egret out in the distance going for lunch. Pretty friendly guy. And our first island only took us roughly 5 to 8 minutes to get to, so that was a nice way to warm up. And our landing was fairly smooth. Right there we landed at the first island, known as the T-shaped island, at least that's what we called it. We had it all to ourselves, best of all. And the water here was relatively warm and murky, but nice enough to see from this view. Making our way inland, we saw right away that other people had camped here. There was a campfire, and signs that people had obviously been having a little bit of fun at night. On the western shore, it was mostly clay, and we did happen to spot the sign of the cross, which is a sign that the conquistadors had been here prior. Being a relatively small island, there wasn't a great deal of horticulture or animal life to see, but it was still nice to get away from the greater part of society and have an island to ourselves.
So this is our first island that we hit today. Nothing too much going on. You can tell plenty of people have been here, yeah?
Yeah.
We can definitely tell they've been out having a good time. So it's really cool to see this because it's in isolation, but at the same time, it's definitely visited by the boating crowd. Still, it's a cool sight, and it's the largest island we're going to hit today. So we're going to get back on the kayaks and see what else we can find out there.
So from there we embarked and we left what was T-shaped island and slowly made our way towards Mud Island. In the distance, again, not too far away, this was only about an 8 to 10 minute paddle, and we came up here on the westernmost edge and circled it looking for a place to more easily land. And I nearly had a perfect exit until I decided to trip to my right. It's all good. Really, only a bruised ego and some wet shorts. Not so bad. Mud Island here also has some pretty nice vantage points when the water is low, so it's a good view. And of course you could strike a pose if you like. We also found this cool hat somewhere in the shoal there. Thank you, Skeeter Performance. Very nice. Coming inland, we actually have a better variety of wildlife out here. You'll soon see why. Making our way inland, aside from the basic horticulture and trees, we found the predominant predator of the island to be orb weaver spiders. Here's one eating a stink bug. And you really did need to be careful walking out here because it seemed that every corner you turned, you'd hit a new 8-legged friend. and that's why I proposed changing this from Mud Island to Spider Island, a much more fitting name. But don't think the plethora of spiders scared people away, because there are signs of campfires out here, and really, the whole island had also been thoroughly walked prior. We were able to find trailheads throughout.
So this is a quick review of what is called Mud Island. We'd probably actually call it Spider Island because we really couldn't film as many spiders as we saw out there. We kept running into them, but they taste great. So I mean, the great thing is that it's actually not a bad spot for camping. You can tell people have done it before. I don't know if it's illegal or illegal, but stealth camping is rad. So we're gonna go on now and we're gonna try and cross the Georgia state line and see the next series of islands, but Mud Island. So it's like a 9 out of 10 if you ask me. Luxury experience without the luxury part.
And from there we left Mud Island and made our way towards the smallest island of the day. Traveling here took about 20 minutes for us because we're going through the state line, and also because motorboats kept trying to hit us, but that's all good. We just waved and kept moving forward. The water out here in particular was actually some of the nicest, as you can see from the footage. But with all of that said, here we had arrived on what we call Tiny Island, the smallest island of them all in the area. Really, it was a nice view, and again, a great example of isolation. Now, please allow me the privilege of taking you on a quick tour of Tiny Island. You just step up here on this embankment, go across the twin fallen trees, make your way through the center of the island here, and then we'll quickly pan to our right. And there you have it. That's a full tour of the island. Wasn't that nice? Really, it's great to have your own privacy here. At least all 4 trees worth.
So this is our third island, and it's the first one over the Georgia state line today. It's our smallest, but by far most exclusive. You know, you definitely know that when you get here, you own all of it. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. But there's no shade here. There's no water, so we're gonna hit the next one. See you then.
Our last island of the day and the last island in Georgia was a complete and total mystery to us. I'd really never seen it before, but getting there only took about 8 minutes again. The water was fairly nice as well, especially for an area with so much clay, but going inland really shocked us. As we stepped in, we quickly found that this place was extremely popular. Here is a washed up life raft, and then some party lights and soda cans, followed by which a pair of women's knickers could be seen on the beach.
That's what I wanted to see, right? That's what makes you know you're in nature.
Best of all, this island's inhabitants had come upon the discovery of the homemade lavatory. Here's one made of duct tape and another from Walmart. Only one word describes this: disgusting! Going a little further in, we also found Party Central, which was a home to a plethora of beer cans, and even better, some homemade shag carpet left behind. Nice. This dead fish and this empty bag of Doritos rather sum up this island politely. Very poorly taken care of. Which is unfortunate, really, because it was such a beautiful place at one point. We decided to leave from here, but not before finding some 4th of July leftovers. These poppets actually on the sand still worked.
So this is our last island of the day, and it is our second one in Georgia. And I would definitely rate this one dead fish and an empty bag of Doritos out of 10. It certainly used to be a beautiful island, but it's become Party Central apparently. Though the added 2 lavatories, the homemade toilets were an interesting homey touch with the rug. Very interesting to come to someone's private island like this.
In order to avoid being entirely negative, I would like to say that the water in this area was some of the clearest and nicest, and we could see schools of fish just below the surface. From there, that was our final island, and we made our way home. The trip back took roughly an hour, but it was all nice and easy, and the water was fairly empty at that point. And very soon, we found our way on a familiar beachhead again. Pulling up and packing up was not really any trouble, and from there, it came time to discuss our final thoughts on the day here at Lake Hartwell.
So, how did we feel about coming out here to Sadler's Creek today? Honestly, we had a really fun and great time. I'm disappointed that when we hit those 4 different islands, the 2 in South Carolina and the 2 in Georgia, we found no buried treasure. Further, all of them had human contact at some point. But all in all, it really was a great time, because regardless, it's always an adventure when you bring a friend. On this channel, you know that we like to preach safety, and in this case, the tools that you need are fairly simple. Other than the kayak and the oar, I would suggest please bringing an actual life vest and make sure it's made for kayaking. There are differences, and its safety features do benefit you greatly. Further, something like this emergency whistle is not bad to have, as well as this dry bag. You can bring a larger one. This is built for a phone, but still, keep all of your valuables safe. As a final note, I also like to have one of these here, just an attachable clip. This cable will keep your oar in place so it doesn't float off and away from you. And best of all, be sure to come with a friend. We'd really like to thank our friends here at Sadler's Creek State Park in South Carolina. We've had a wonderful time and the water was perfect today. This is an excellent place to come out for a nice nature walk or a family picnic, some of your first time camping as well, but most of all for the water. This is an excellent place for water-based recreation. I would like to say, however, when you come out kayaking, please be prepared for a large body of water that's constantly moving, and also be aware that there are several other people out here on motorized vehicles. Be careful and keep your eyes and ears open while you're out there. That being said, again, we've had such a great time, and we thank you for coming along. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and as always, thank you.
Until next time, dear viewers, this is the Eager Beaver signing off. Someone was a good girl while I was away, huh? Such a good girl. Thank you for behaving. Bye-bye.